Looking at that train, that was the summer of 1980 when I was 23.
That New York City subway was one of more than 5,000 that graffiti artist Steve Ogburn covered in color, captured in photos now on display at the new Museum of Graffiti.
And you're doing this in the middle of the night?
This is at 2 o'clock in the morning, pitch dark, standing like this next to a train.
You got to a point where you became a master and expert in New York City subways.
Well, in the tunnels, because I could really run really fast. At 6 feet tall, probably 139 pounds, 29-inch waist. I mean, I could move. For me, it's so nice because someone's recognizing it.
Known as Blade, he was part of the birth of modern graffiti in the 70s and 80s and is considered one of its pioneers. Among a generation of daring young writers whose works are featured here.
Your intention was what when you set up the design of the museum?
To bring you through a historical timeline, to show you from the very beginning of the style writing movement, the graffiti art movement, till today.
Alan Kett is a graffiti artist, historian, and collector who partnered with former state prosecutor Allison Frieden as she was doing advocacy work for graffiti writers. The duo co-founded the museum not only to educate the public and preserve the history, but to provide visitors a counter-narrative.
That was really the goal for both Alan and I, is to sing the song of unsung heroes who have contributed so much to our culture, yet the artists who pioneered that were routinely shunned for their work.
There was a war on graffiti for decades.
There was a war on graffiti for decades, but what does that even mean? That just means you're cleaning it up. That means that you're incarcerating young kids and perhaps exposing them to real criminals and real criminal activity and real criminal life.
Kett's legal run-ins over his work landed him a number of lawsuits.
Done.
And in 2007, a plea deal with New York City prosecutors that made headlines.
There still will be people who will watch this and say, that's not art, that's vandalism.
You know, and I think that those folks that say that should come and visit us and take a walk with me so that I could explain to you why this is an art form and how this art form was created and how it's evolved and developed and gone around the world and how it now sells for millions of dollars. Then you see Jester to the right, his J kicks up and creates a big circle.
It's what he's now doing inside the collection
in the early 80s.
And out on the streets, where the museum has commissioned 11 murals.
We walk by and we see police. They're looking for the artists. It's nighttime, they're using flashlights.
The institution opened in Miami's Wynwood neighborhood, a former industrial district that over the past decade, street artists have transformed into a vibrant and massive open-air gallery. Here, aerosol artists from around the world have free reign.
Wynwood really has become a destination here in Miami.
Wynwood is an art destination in Miami. It's also an entertainment destination. It's a foodie destination. There's all kinds of things happening here. It's a nightlife destination.
The 3,200 square foot museum is packed with more than 300 pieces of the movement's history and the artists behind it.
And I started on buses.
Artists like Blade, whose trailblazing work earned him the title, the King of Graffiti.
Did you ever think this day would come?
No, of course not, because it's an art form created by young people for young people. And when I started, there were no masterpieces.
They're going whole car, top to bottom, end to end.
Some of the artifacts are from Alan Kett's personal archive. For him, the museum's opening and the celebration that followed was the ultimate validation.
When you grow up as a child and your parents tell you that this is something wrong, and then when you go to school and your teachers are telling you this is wrong, you're going to be a loser for the rest of your life, and society finally catches up to celebrate you, it's incredibly moving. It's an emotional experience. You know, you never think that you'd make it to a place that finally got it.
Kenneth Craig, Miami.